Hi everyone, my name is Tori Livermore and this is my organizational leadership. It is based off of my school district, which is Garden City, Kansas, USD 457. Okay, so here is the flow chart. At the very top is our Board of Education. That is our board with individuals from our community. They meet once a month and they discuss policies within our school, and they approve or deny things that have been brought to the table that they need to discuss. They are in charge of all the policies that take place within our school. And then underneath that, we have our superintendent. So they are in charge of managing all of our schools and making sure that all the schools and everyone in the district is following the board policies that the Board of Education has put into place. Underneath the superintendent is our deputy superintendent. This person is in charge of several other departments, and each of these departments functions as their own, but they are underneath the deputy superintendent. So that person oversees all of these departments. So the first one being the chief financial officer. So that department, they only deal with all the money within the school. The director of plant facilities, they only deal with all of the building and the maintenance within the school district. Then we go to director of curriculum and assessments. They deal with all of the curriculum and the testing that takes place. Director of nursing, in charge of all the nurses. Director of child nutrition and wellness, so they are in charge of all the food within the schools. The assistant superintendent of student services and secondary education, they are in charge of all the principals, and I will come back to that in a second. Then we have our director of SPED, director of ELL, so our English language learners in our migrant program. Next, we have our human resource coordinator, director of transportation, so in charge of all the busing and vehicles. And then we have director of technology. So each one of those, they function as their own. They each focus on the knowledge and skills within that department. So going back to the assistant superintendent, we have several schools in our district, but we just have one person that oversees all the principals. And we have about 8 elementaries, 2 intermediate centers, 2 middle schools, and then 1 high school. So underneath that position is our principals. The principals are in charge of the buildings that they are assigned to. Underneath the principal is our assistant principal. So if they're on the building, assistant principal is next in charge. And then to the side right here is our lead teacher. So if the principal is out and the assistant principal is out, or if the school doesn't have an assistant principal, the lead teacher is in charge. So they leave their classroom, they have an actual classroom, they are a teacher, and they are just in charge of the building or behavior that arises when the principals are out of the building. And then to the other side is our instructional coach. They are in charge of supporting teachers within the curriculum and helping us with testing. But above the instructional coach, so they get all their information from the literacy coordinator and the director of curriculum and assessment. So the information about our curriculum gets passed down through the director there, and then our literacy coordinator, and then it goes to the instructional coach, and then it gets passed down to our teachers. Our principals also oversees the PTO organization, site council within each building, and the student assistant teams. We call it SAT. Within SAT is certified staff is on that team, and different students' needs are brought to their team and they assist us. So back to the top, principals, assistant principals, and then we have our office staff. They help run the schools. We cannot function without our office staff. Then we have our certified staff, so teachers, librarians, counselors, therapists, and at the bottom we have our classified staff, our paras, our custodians, our nutrition workers. And then over here on this side we have building leadership team, so our BLT, they discuss any needs in the building, and then anything that needs to be discussed coming up or any issues we have. That consists of a classified staff, certified staff, lead teacher, and principal. So it's a mix of people on that team. And then same goes with the district leadership team. It is a mix of people from different parts of this chart. We have the principals down at the bottom, different people from this purple box, so different directors and administration, and then the deputy superintendent. And the district leadership team also discusses any issues from the BLT that needs to be brought up. And then from there, it can be brought back all the way up to the Board of Education. And then down here at the very bottom is our parents and students. So this purple box, this is where parents and students are within each school. And then this flowchart is a hierarchy. It flows from the top to the bottom. It is much bigger at the top. I didn't realize how many different directors and administration we had when I talked to my principal and a veteran teacher when they were helping me and discussing all the leadership within our school district. And so all of the different departments, it flows down to the bottom because we are all supporting parents and students. And then the organizational structure that we follow is a functional. Each function is based on their groupings or skills and knowledge. It is a vertical structure going up and down. There is room to move up to the structure, move up through the flowchart, and the top of the flowchart has more, those people with more experience have moved up to the top. Each function is organized within their unit with other like-minded people. Our district divides responsibilities based on their functions. Each group communication, it flows up and down, and with BLT and DLT, that is, it helps with the communication going up and down and within feedback throughout the district. And that is and here's my references. Thank you for listening.